Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. There is no 40k stories today. If you're one of those who tunes in for 40k stories on a Saturday, I apologise. There isn't one today. I've taken a week's hiatus, but rest assured it will return next week. So, what are we doing instead? Well, today is what I like to do at the end of the year. I do a year in review. I did one in 2015, and I'm going to do one basically every year. And conveniently, it falls on a day of my upload schedule this year, because the day you're watching this, of course, it's New Year's Eve. It's the last day of 2016, and what a year 2016 has been for me and for this channel. Putting aside what happened in the world, a lot of good, a lot of not so good, that's a standard year. But we've had a really good year here on the channel. I just want to run through how we've done, how I feel about how the year's gone, and get some ideas from you about how you think the year's gone. And then we'll talk about 2017, how we're going to go forward, what we're going to do, what we might leave in 2016, all of that stuff. And there's going to be a few things I do need to discuss for next year. But we'll get to that in a minute. So, how has 2016 been? Well, if you remember back to my 2015 year in review, all that time, 12 months ago, we were at about 600 subscribers. And I thought that was incredible because we'd trebled in size in a year. And we had. And that's amazing. But, I forgot how tight these pockets are. If I look at the stats for this year, I know I look extremely unprofessional and unprepared, but I don't care. Well, our stats for this year, we have 5,770 subscribers at the time of recording. What I said about tripling in size, we've grown nearly 10 times. 9.5 times over we have grown. What the hell has happened this year? And honestly, actually, a lot of it's happened in the last 3 months. Because when I came home from university, in June, I had 1,000 subscribers, and that was incredible, and I made a video just before I went away on holiday. And then when I went back to university, I had 1,500 subscribers, which, again, I thought was amazing. But that was in September. And it's now December, and we're at nearly 6,000. What the hell? I'm going to try not to swear, because I know some people quite enjoy listening to my videos where I don't swear, but oh my goodness me, what happened? What a year. What a year we have had on the channel. Nearly 10 times bigger than we were when we started, and going from strength to strength. But why is that? Why have we skyrocketed to such a degree? Well, I'm going to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I put it down to my friends, my YouTube friends and my home friends who have been really supportive throughout the year and helping me out with content. I particularly need to thank, obviously, Remlays and Ego Queen Alexis, because the two of them have helped me so much through Adeptus Podcastus and working with me on videos separately. For example, voice acting in an episode of 40k Stories on Christmas Eve. That was Remlays, if you didn't know. All of that good stuff, I have to thank those two, because Adeptus Podcastus has done my channel so much good, and I'm sure if Alexis does a video like this, then she'll say the same. Adeptus Podcastus has been amazing. It's been great fun to do, and even if it wasn't doing well, I'd still love doing it. But the fact it's doing so well is just an added bonus. And I've made some good friends through doing the podcast, because I've met people I've never spoken to before. Remlays was my path to meeting the Alpha Legion. I haven't met most of them, but through the podcast I've met Fresh, Carl, Thunder, White, and Alexis is on good terms with Zoran, and there's other people like Zegrim who I want to get to know. There's a load of people that I've now been introduced to in our community through the podcast and through Remlays that I would never have met otherwise. I've got to work with Scarredcast for the first time. I've spoken to Scary before in the past, but I got to work with him through the podcast. And there'll be other guests in future who I'll get to work with, and that is really awesome. I admit, not everything has gone well this year, but on that front, the podcast has been incredible. And the other reason I think the channel has done so well is I've learned how to be consistent with quality. I now upload 40k stories, with the exception of today, once a week. That is fully handwritten scripts, fully recorded, multiple takes, edited, with art references, uploaded, descriptions in advance. I stay ahead of the curve, and I'm starting to develop my own style through 40k stories with the character of the Craftworld character who, yeah, he's probably off in the webway somewhere on the way to Mars, I think it was. Yeah, was it Mars? Yeah, he's going to Mars right now. So I'm sure we'll get his next Fox transition next week. But I love doing them. They're time consuming, yeah, but I love doing them, and they make me happy to work on those scripts because they allow me to expand my knowledge. And that's what I want to do with 40k stories. 40k stories could quite simply be me reading off the wikis and just giving you facts and facts and facts and facts and facts with some fancy art. That could be all I did, and that would be me being lazy. But I don't want to be lazy. I want to do it my way, so I have this character. And I have the fact that I try and provide extra information in every episode. So instead of just, let's take the word bearers for an example, reading off the word bearers page, reading off Lorgar's page, I want to try and provide extra information like why did this happen? What was this? Why did this come to pass? I want to try and provide extra fleshed out information, both so you guys can learn more about the universe, because this universe is flipping amazing, and also because it enriches my knowledge so I don't look like so much of an idiot when I go on the podcast. Because as much as I'm a lore YouTuber, I'm still not that well versed on the lore. Like, pretty much everything I know, you've seen, apart from a few books that I've read and codices that I've read that I haven't decided to put on the channel. Pretty much everything you know, I know. And so I look like a bit of an idiot if I don't know stuff and I'm going up against Remlays, who's a walking encyclopedia, to quote Alexis, and, well, Alexis, who really knows her stuff as well. So it's really beneficial for me and allows you to get a wider understanding than just going and reading it for yourself. And that's why I always encourage you to go and read it for yourself, because I will skip out details. But it is really good to actually just pick up all that extra stuff, and that's what I want to do. Now, I will say, a few things have suffered this year. The main one being, well, my fault. Codex analysis. I said it last year. I'm pretty sure I talked about Codex analysis last year and how I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep it going as a series because it isn't that popular. It's useful for me, but the time I get around to doing them, people know the codices inside out already, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And if you're an Eldar player and you're hoping for the rest of the Codex analysis series, then, well, it hasn't been forthcoming. And that's my fault. I'm fully prepared to sit down and record it, I just never sit down and record it, and that's my fault. So I'm thinking what I might do is when I wrap up the Eldar Craftworld's Codex analysis, which I'm going to try and do in the new year, I'll probably call it a day. Because I'm realising now that my channel has tried too hard to be a jack-of-all-trades channel. I know now what this channel is. In the majority, this channel is a lore channel. It's a lore channel that does some theories and then does some tactics and battle reports along the way. It isn't about being everything to everyone. I'm not going to be able to provide the in-depth research of Arch and Remlays and the tactical knowledge of a mini wargaming or an Alexis. I don't have the skill, the time, or anything to make that possible. I don't. I'm one kid doing a physics degree, which, according to a recent survey, is the second hardest set of exams you can do at the University of Manchester. And I really don't have the time to do it. So I realise now I have to try and keep the videos on the lore side going, even if that means that some other stuff suffers. So when Codex Analysis Eldar is done, and I hope to have that done by the end of February, because I'm going to have a January exams, I'll talk about that in a minute, I'm going to call Codex Analysis quits. I may come back to it, like do a short one for Tau, because Tau is my army and I can really go on about Tau, like how I think they work, but I might do that as a tactics video as opposed to an actual full-on review. I really don't know. Speaking of tactics, you notice there's not many battle reports. There was a battle report came out on Boxing Day, and there's a battle report coming out next week, but because of my university situation, I can't film battle reports for most of the year. And my friendship group, while they're awesome people, are not going to be the ones who are going to go out and buy an army to play against me. My friendship group at home, great. And I'm hoping that when Ben gets his stuff sorted, that he'll be able to give you battle reports. And I'm hoping Kieran, if he gets time, will be able to provide you with some hobby or some Age of Sigmar, which will be awesome. And that takes the weight off me so I can focus on doing what I do best, which is lore. Lore and theories are my bread and butter now, and that's what I'm just going to have to get used to. Doing the top fives, I enjoy doing the top fives and all that stuff, but I know where my core mechanic, my core founding is, and that's in lore. I'll still do gaming when I get time, so I'll make battle reports. I'm going to make another battle report tomorrow at the time of recording, so it'll already been recorded by the time you're watching this. I'll be making hopefully another battle report, and I'm sure I'll get at least one more in before I go back to university. But if it happens that the battle reports fall off, even when I'm at home, then I apologise, but that might just happen. I'm hoping that Ben can pick that up, or that Kieran can pick that up, but I've told them many times, their degrees come before this channel. Speaking of, right, so I've talked about the podcast, I've talked about lore, talked about a few content things. So I suppose before I talk about 2017, I want to ask you what you think of this year. Putting the numbers aside, because the numbers are numbers. I mean, they don't matter to me, but it's great to see that people appreciate what we do. But putting those numbers aside, what have you thought of our year? Well, let me know what you think of what we've done, what we haven't done, what you'd like to see us try and do. Just bear in mind, when you make these suggestions, don't go too mad. I'm one kid with one PC, no actual proper camera, and very limited time. So by all means, give me suggestions. I'm completely open to suggestions, but don't be asking me to go out and do massive apocalypse battle reports or stuff like that, because that's not going to happen. Actually, while I think about it, I remember back now to 2015, and I said I wanted to create a hub. I remember this. This was my one goal for 2016, was to create a hub, a place where people could come to voice their opinions and collaborate, smaller channels with bigger channels, and do all of that good stuff. Set it up so that a core of bigger YouTubers are there to help the smaller channels. Now that hasn't quite come to pass, but through Adeptus Podcasters we are doing something. We are supporting channels who maybe, like Alexis and myself, we're small channels in a way in our community, and it's helping us. And I'm sure if people want to get in contact with us and ask about coming on the show, maybe we can do something with that. I will ask Remlays and Alexis. If you let me know through an email, I have a business email on my YouTube channel, and I can forward it to people, and we can show us your content and all of that good stuff, and we'll see about having you on the show. Maybe as a little guest spotlight, even if you're not on for the full episode. Or maybe just do one-off special. Who knows? But I think the hub is starting to be built, because we've now got this core of people, myself, Remlays, Alexis, White, and others, who are now there. The core is established, and it's now up to us and to you to bring it all together and go and create something amazing. Create our own community. And through our comments Q&A, I think we're starting to do that. Because even if it's not YouTubers, people are able to talk to us about lore stuff, tactics stuff, hobby stuff, and just try to get some interaction going, which is a really good thing. And I want to take that further next year. Obviously, the podcast is the podcast, but if we can do something to help smaller channels out, then I'll try and do that. But 2017 is not going to be making my life very easy. So let's talk about it. Right. Next year, as in starting tomorrow, my life gets very, very complicated. I'm in second year now, and that means I'm doing another round of exams in January and another round of exams in June. That's standard stuff. And these exams are hard. These exams are not easy. And next semester, I'm going to have another pile of work to do, because this semester that I've just done, I haven't been doing lab work. And next semester I am. Now, that might not sound like much to you, but that's 7 hours a week, plus time to prepare, do analysis, write reports. That's going to be massively time consuming. Add that to the fact that the courses are only going to get harder, the workload is only going to get more intense, and my language module has still got to be done, and I've got to sort out my year abroad, then things get really tight. And I'm very conscious that things on this channel might start to suffer. That's why Ben and Kieran are on standby. That's why they're there. That's why I wanted to get them working, because they're in first year, and hopefully that gives them a little bit of time. I'm not going to ask for their entire dedication, but just a little bit of time. Because if it can get me one video a week, one video every 2 weeks, then it's something to keep the channel ticking over. I think if I'm efficient, I can get a lore video out every week. I can do that. I'm pretty sure I can do that. If I knuckle down, I can get a lore video out every week and fill my work quotas. I know I can do that if I'm efficient and if I'm careful. What I have to avoid is burning out. I have to avoid burning out. And you have to understand this. I love you all. You're an amazing group of people, this community. But my degree comes first. If it happens that my workload gets on top of me, let's say I have a lab report to do and a French presentation to prepare, and I need to go and see the study abroad office, then I might not have time to write a lore video. That just might not happen. I'm trying to make a backlog. So for example, I've made next week's lore video, I've written the next one after that, and I've started writing the one after that already. And I'm going to try and get at least a week ahead, if not 2. I'm going to try and get my lore videos to be 2 weeks ahead. And then if I do run into that backlog, I'll just make a short lore video to bump me ahead a week until I can get the time to hunker down and make another Legion script. So it may happen that I don't upload for a week. I may skip a lore video. There may be a week where I don't upload lore. It may be that I only upload Legions. For the 36 weeks that's going to take, because it's every other week, I just upload Legion lore. I skip the one in between. That may have to happen just for the sake of me getting my degree done. Because as I say, my degree comes first. This thing is amazing. What we've done is incredible. But it's my second job. It's my secondary concern behind my physics degree. It has to be. It has to be. Because I can't support myself off some ad revenue from YouTube. And I will never ask for Patreon. Like, someone I remember asked me if I was going to set up a Patreon account. And I said no. I'm not doing it because that turns this from a hobby that can generate a little bit of extra revenue just to top my bank balance up to buy some hobby, to a job where people are paying me, you guys are paying me to make videos, to buy better equipment. And I could never ask that. I don't have the time to commit to doing that. I don't have the resources to commit to doing that. And I would never ask you guys to do it. So there'll never be like a way that I could just drop out of uni and go it solo. No flipping way, mate. This degree has to be done. So next semester, in the run-up to June, basically up till June, there is a chance that there will be the odd week or a couple of weeks where I don't upload. I'll miss a lore video, or I'll just have to rely on Ben and Kieran if they can get a video to me, or I just have the podcast for a week. And the podcast is all that you see for me. That might happen. And if that does happen, I am really, really sorry in advance, but you have to understand where my priorities lie. And it only gets more complicated in the back end of the year, because September is third year. Now, my course is slightly unique because it's built around the concept of a year abroad. You sign up to this course with the full intent of going abroad and studying abroad in that country's language. So I study French. I've done a French video on the channel. I'm going to do another one because I think it's fun. And I'm going to go to France in third year, assuming I get the grades. If I do that, then I'm going to be in another country, speaking a new language permanently. Like, you're not supposed to speak English while you're out there. I'll be studying in a new language, and that's going to make my life so complicated because I'm going to have to spend more time in lectures, even if it's just translating all my lectures across into English. That's going to take time and effort. Plus the fact I'm going to be on the continent is just going to make things awkward. So in September, again, I'm going to go for that backlog. I don't have a holiday booked this year. My parents are going away for their anniversary, but I'm not going on holiday. So I plan to just get as huge a backlog as I can manage. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 weeks ahead of backlog in summer. So as when I go away in September, it's all sorted. And you can at least let me adjust. But again, that might not happen, and there may be issues in France. But that's more something for the back end of the year, and we'll talk about that again in summer when things actually start falling into place and we're actually ready to go. And then I'm sure the 2017 year in review will address it as well. But I've rambled on for nearly 20 minutes. In fact, I have rambled on for 20 minutes about this year and next year and all of that stuff. So I think I'm going to stop. So, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support, your time, your comments, your everything. Everything you've done for this channel, I really, truly appreciate it. It means a lot. And while I know 2017 is going to be rough, I know that things are going to get hard for me, at least in terms of academia, and that's going to make good old YouTube difficult. I hope that we can make it just as good a year again. I'm not asking for another 15,000 subscribers. I'm not asking for that. All I ask is that you be patient with me, because I do really enjoy this, and I never want to give it up. YouTube has been this semester the one thing that I knew I could fall back on that I would enjoy. Like, even when physics was driving me mad and I had assignments and I had deadlines, I knew if I pushed through, I could spend 2 hours working on a video, and that would just cheer me up, that would help. Or I could sit down and do the podcast, and that would make my Fridays after 4 hours of programming lab. Oh my god, that was hell. Anyway, so yeah, in the comments, let me know what you think of our 2016, what you've enjoyed, what you've not so much enjoyed. Just give me all of your feedback and let me know what you want to see in 2017. Thank you all again, and yeah. From Tactica Imperialis in 2016, we're done. My name is Michael. Thank you very much for watching. See you in 2017. Goodbye.